Hey, this is Josh McEwen here with Dufferin News, and today we are here to talk about Stream's Community Hub, a local charity in Shelburne that is doing amazing work with youth by offering a wide variety of arts programs that they wouldn't traditionally get exposed to in school, while combining that with an outstanding camp experience. These camps are meant to be affordable, and there are even subsidies and scholarships available for those in need. Juli-Anne and Andrew James, co-founders of Stream's Community Hub, provided their time to discuss their great work that they are currently doing, in addition to their big plans for a full-fledged creative hub in the town of Shelburne and how they are making that possible. This is really cool stuff, and the more you learn, the more excited you'll be. I'm not even an arts guy, and I found this amazing. Anyways, we cover a lot in this, so I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Juli-Anne and Andrew for their time, and I hope you all enjoy this segment of Dufferin News. Thanks. So hi, this is Josh McEwen here with Dufferin News, and today I'm joined by Juli-Anne James and Andrew James of Stream's Community Hub in Shelburne. Thank you both for your time, and I look forward to getting more details about all the great work that you guys are doing. How are you both doing today?
Doing well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Well, thank you both for your time. This is great, and I'm excited to learn more. So can you please tell us about Stream Community Hub and its mission?
Yeah, Streams Community Hub is an arts-based, youth-focused charity in Shelburne, Ontario, and we serve youth from ages 4 to 14 through seasonal creative arts programming, March break, summer camp. Kids get the opportunity to do visual arts, dramatic arts, circus arts, which is one of my favorites.
Culinary arts, all of the arts, really.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just about giving youth an opportunity to find their purpose through exploring their passions.
That's great, because I'll admit, when I was growing up, I wasn't really an arts kid. Like, I'm colorblind, so that discouraged me from a lot of it, and I wasn't very outgoing, so the dramatic stuff. But I mean, if there was an avenue to pursue it outside of the school environment and explore all the different avenues that you guys offer, I think they will get a lot more kids into it versus like what's just offered in the school setting. And again, just being around your peer groups, being around a different group, and being around a different teacher, perhaps. I think that's a great opportunity that you're offering these kids, because I mean, again, it could help somebody like me. So I mean,
yeah, absolutely. We try to focus as much as possible on being as multidisciplinary as we can be, because a lot of things that people don't necessarily automatically think of as the arts really are included in the arts, like culinary arts, like cooking, baking, like that's an art, right? So we want to expose kids to as much as possible so that they can find something that they click with. It's not our goal necessarily to make sure that every kid who comes through a program ends up in the arts eventually. We really see it as a tool to help them develop their voice, self-expression, self-esteem, self-confidence, and the arts really have the power to do that. So that's why we focus so intensely on it.
100%. I mean, I can definitely see that, because I mean, again, just being going out there and performing, or finding something, again, like you said, finding your voice and developing a confidence in that.
Yeah.
And again, like something like culinary arts, it's just a useful skill in general. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
The younger you're exposed to that, the more beneficial it is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And again, that's not something that's really offered in our area. So I mean, we can really appreciate what you're doing. Like, this is really great.
Yeah. Thank you.
So when did Streams Community Hub start?
We registered in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
and we did our first summer camp in 2017. But really, it started many, many, many years before that. I graduated from high school with a Dramatic Arts Award, went to New York, went to acting school there, came back at a local church, met this beautiful woman here, and started a talent show at that church. And it was just a monthly talent show, again, just giving youth an opportunity to come out to sing and do things like that. And I think the idea started then with just creating a place and a space for young people. So it's 20 years in the making type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's when we first saw the power of the arts to actually impact young people, right? Mm-hmm. So we've been walking towards this a long time.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's a true passion for you both. I mean, that's awesome. And I mean, especially if since your relationship kind of came from
Yeah.
from this.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was hosting the talent show, and she was new to the church, and someone was like, "You got to have this girl come. She does spoken word. She's amazing, and she did poetry on stage." And I was like, "Wow, she's incredible." So yeah, we met on
that basis.
on the basis of the arts.
Yeah. Yeah. The arts brought us together.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. So what kind of programming do you offer? I mean, you know, you mentioned around the arts, but can you just be more specific? You don't mind me asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We have videography, so kids learn to do video editing and filming, storytelling through digital medium. Photography, which is, you know, of course, speaks for itself, just learning different angles and how to set your ISO or IOS. So
We haven't taken the program,
right,
so we don't know.
And we have great facilitators that do all that. Visual arts, they learn all the different mediums, pastels to watercolors
Painting,
to, you know, acrylics and all that. And then, of course, culinary arts, which was our first time that we did our baking last summer. And kids learned to make pretzels, quiche,
Homemade pies,
pies,
pie crusts,
yeah.
And they learned a little bit of the science behind
Exactly.
Baking as well, which
so
was
taking
great.
the same dough and adding this and making it pretzel dough and adding this and making it, you know, whatever, bread dough. So that was cool. Oh man, circus arts, like I said, you know, beginning of the week, kids are like, you know, the facilitator says to them, "You're going to learn to walk on these, you know, 2 foot, 3 foot, 6 foot stilts," and they're just like, "No way!" And then by midweek, you see them, you know, working on it, and then by the end of the week, they're, you know, there was kids that were on like 6 foot. I'm 6'2", and the stilt, their foot started at the top of my head, and they were just walking confidently.
Yeah.
You know, kids doing tumbling and acrobatics and things like that.
And face painting and learning how to make balloon animals. And
yeah.
We also have a program for the very young kids called Kinder Prep, where kids who are getting ready to start school in September, they come for a week in the summer. And it just helps them, you know, through singing and drama activities and crafting activities. It helps them kind of get used to coming to a place every day and putting your bag away and having your lunch break and seeing people and interacting. So, you know, for us, the hope is that they'll get kind of used to it so that when they get to school, it won't be such a stark transition for them. So we have that as well.
Yeah.
We also have introduced, if this is not necessarily purely arts based, but we do recognize that this is a helpful thing for some kids to be introduced to. So we have a creative coding camp that we do. So they're learning coding, but, you know, there's some creativity to it. So they're programming kind of their own music and programming, you know, graphics and that kind of stuff. So there's some STEM focus there. What else? This year, actually, we had in the plans to introduce a new stream in like textiles and sewing. So we were going to be having that. We'll have to put it off till next year, fingers crossed. But yeah, I think those are some of the, I think we covered
of course, dramatic arts.
And dramatic arts,
which is always amazing because the kids learn a full musical in 1 week and they put it on for the community at the end of the week. They're learning lines, dances, you know, choreography, all in 1 week. So it's pretty amazing to see how much they can retain and execute in a week. But
yeah. And this year we did manage, before COVID hit, we did manage to roll out at least one PD Day program because we hadn't done PD Day programming prior to that. And we did a ukulele jamboree PD Day where kids came in and they kind of learned the ukulele. Luckily this year we won a grant from Music Counts. So we'll be getting $9,500 worth of musical instruments, djembe drums, ukuleles, that sort of thing. And so we'll be able to roll out music programming as well in the coming year.
Wow. So can you tell us how? I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that is actually truly amazing. I mean, like to have that all offered under one organization, much less in our community, is amazing. I mean, like that's awesome. Like thank you. I wish it was here when I was a little kid.
I know. A lot of parents say that. A lot of our facilitators wish that they had it too. And you know what? As we grow, and as you know, we're working towards our bigger vision of having our own permanent space where we can have year-round programming and after-school programming, weekend programming. We definitely have ideas and desire to do workshops for adults, you
Yeah.
know, and them doing photography and sewing and other things like that. So as we grow, we'll definitely be able to expand the reach of the community demographics.
That'd be great. That's truly exciting.
So we'll leave room for you. We'll leave room for you to come up.
There's a lot of stuff I could learn just looking at what you guys are offering, or like from the sounds of it. There's a lot I could benefit from, and I think a lot of other people in our community could benefit from too.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure it's clear. Like, when and where do your camps take place currently?
Yep. Well, as you know now, we do seasonal camps, so March break and summer camp, and our PD day camps. Right now, out of any schools that are in town that we're able to rent from, we in the past have done Centennial Highlands Elementary School, and our PD day camp we ran out of the Shelburne Public Library.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So I mean, that is great. So I mean, like when you mentioned the kinder program, for like, getting kids ready for school, that is the best environment to get them ready for schools and to school.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's great. So how is how is it structured as far as the payment goes? Because I mean, from what I understand now, you guys started off as a nonprofit, and you guys have moved to a charity now, and you guys do fundraising. So how does that all work? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah. So the way that it works, initially when we started out, our idea was to provide these programs completely free of cost. But of course, that's hugely ambitious, particularly when you're a totally unknown organization. So we had to structure the payments in a way that made sense. So what we did is we set it up so that we basically offer the programs at cost. So for a week of camp, we started out at $125. I think now we're at $135 for the week of camp. We also, on top of that, offer a no questions asked 50% subsidy. So if a family can't afford the full cost, the full $135, they can just opt to pay the subsidized price. And on top of that, if there's a family that absolutely cannot afford the cost of camp at all, we offer full scholarships. So all they would need to do is fill out an application, kind of tell us what the situation is. The board reviews all of those applications. And we're very proud of the fact that we have never had to turn away a family that has requested a full scholarship. And we'd like to keep it that way. Provided that we have the space in the program, so I think at this point, just about 50% of our attendees have attended either based on a full or partial scholarship. So that's something that we're really proud of, particularly because our goal is to make sure that any kid who wants to have access to the arts or exposure to the arts can, right? We want every kid who wants to come to camp to come to camp.
Yeah. We also offer discounted rates for parents with multiple kids, right? So it's always difficult sometimes when you have 2 or 3 kids to send all of them to camp at that same price. And so we have a kind of a tiered discount for that. So yeah, we want it to be accessible to all.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean that's impressive. Like, because I mean, you guys are relatively new, and I mean,
yes,
you've accomplished so much. And I mean, you really are helping a lot of people. Because I mean, camp is a big deal for a lot of kids. And I mean, especially like for what you're offering, like an actual educational camp where they actually do, like you said, get to find their voice and develop a confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, that is great. It's not just a place to be; it's actually a place you want to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. So I think we kind of answered this, but I want to make sure. What motivated you guys to start Streams Community Hub?
Of course, starting out with a passion for the arts and recognizing the power that arts have. I was a youth pastor for 6.5 years. And during that time, like one of the things that was the most powerful tool that I had was using, the arts as an ability to reach people and to build relationship, right? And so there have been a lot of young people who might not have had a desire to go to post-secondary school or just didn't know what their thing was, and providing a place for them to express themselves, help to really shape and steer them. So the bottom line is just a deep desire to set young people on the right track, or light a flame inside of them, fan the flame inside of them, and so that they can shine bright in whatever it is that they decide to do.
Yeah, I think generally kids want to be involved in productive, positive activities. And so if there's a vacuum where that is not necessarily accessible to them or available to them, then they fall into other, activities that are not necessarily positive and productive for them. So I think that really is a push for us. We really are motivated by the fact that we want to create the opportunity for them to be engaged in positive stuff.
That's awesome. Because I mean, like, I'm gonna ask why Shelburne, like why you chose Shelburne. Because I mean, I went to school in Shelburne, and I mean, there wasn't a lot there. We had the school, and there were some great spots, but I mean, there wasn't a lot of variety. I mean, it's changed a lot since I went to school there, but I mean, and to have this there is really great. But I want to ask why you chose Shelburne. Like, why not Orangeville or somewhere else?
Yeah.
You know what? It just was one of those things that just kind of happened. We had 2 kids. We have 3 now, but we had 2 at the time, and we were in a little townhouse condo in Mississauga. I was born and raised in Mississauga, and since she's come to Toronto, she's always been in Mississauga.
Mm-hmm.
But a friend of ours was like, I guess we were thinking like maybe we should move. Maybe we should expand. Like, we weren't even passionately thinking about moving. It's just an idea that came up. And a friend had mentioned Shelburne, and we were like, well, I don't know where that is. And we looked on the map, and we just jumped in the car, and everything just made sense.
I think we came here and we kind of fell in love and were just arrested by the place.
Yeah.
Right. And felt like, this is a place for us.
Yeah.
And so coming here and moving our family, making that personal decision to move our family out here, we quickly recognized that there was a need here for what we were carrying, for our passion and stuff. And so we decided, hey, how can we serve our community with what is in our hands? And so we just took some steps to make that happen.
Yeah.
And we're pretty, pleased with the response.
Yeah, the response.
And the community kind of has really rallied around us.
Yeah. From parents to youth
to the leadership, the town council, the mayor, the deputy mayor, everyone is
super supportive. And so it just feels right, and it's making sense, and it seems to be working. And so we're excited about, where things are going to go.
That's great. 'Cause I mean, it's good to see. Like, 'cause I mean, we're really lucky that you came to Shelburne, and I'm glad people can actually realize that too. 'Cause I mean, we don't take we take things for granted. I mean, this is something that we cannot take for. Like, you guys are really trying to accomplish something great here, and like, not everyone's trying to do this everywhere. That's for sure.
Thank you.
It really means a lot. I appreciate that.
Well, it's true. I mean, again, we're super lucky to have you guys here, because like what you guys have planned. I want to get into that now. Actually, so what are your big plans? So we can just let everyone know, and it makes sure everyone's on the same page.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Well, I mean, it's great for us to be able to utilize the schools, and the school board. They give us a great charity rate, and so it works out well. But at the end of the day, I think it's ideal when you have your own place and your own space where you can kind of keep everything. You don't have to keep on packing up every week. But and so, the desire is to have our own space and our own place where we can 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just have creativity on the go, right? Yeah. And like I said, having after school programming and weekend programming, and it would just be ideal. So it just makes sense. And so we kind of.
Yeah, I think also having our own place, one of the major things for us is it increases our capacity. So we're able to serve more and more people, more and more youth, right? So because right now we're kind of limited based on the amount of space that we can rent from the school board and that sort of thing. And we have to keep class sizes a certain size. And, it really restricts us in terms of how many people we can reach and how many people we can serve. So having our own place will really help with increasing our capacity to serve more people in the county, right, as a whole. So we're excited about that. So the big plan is to really have this public access creative hub where we can kind of develop, nurture, and grow this creative community. It's not just youth. I mean, the youth will be there and the youth will be a focus. Those youth will also grow with us and become adults. And then we can also have some intergenerational cooperation. We can have seniors coming in and volunteering. We can have them coming in and actually sharing skills. Like, I mean, crochet is an art, right? Yeah. So if there's knitting and crocheting, if there are some seniors who really are skilled at that and they can transfer those skills to a younger generation, we'd love to see that sort of thing happening. We also have a lot of artists in Dufferin County who are involved in what I like to call, cottage arts, right? And so if we can create a space where they can get, accessible studio space, and just a place to come and to be creative. We even have some retail space, pop-up retail space, included in the design of the hub, so that if someone is involved in a seasonal kind of art and they want to get some really low-cost space where they can lease and kind of sell their products, that would also be available. So the goal is really a really holistic, creative community where we can do that arts education, where we're serving youth, but also create an opportunity for the community to come together around the arts.
If I understand, there's going to be like possibly a recording studio and a computer lab as well.
Absolutely, yes. Shared
and a commercial
workspace,
kitchen too, right?
A training kitchen, yes. Because there's going to be a cafe, so the idea is that the kitchen would serve as the kitchen for the cafe, but also a training kitchen for those culinary arts programs.
Wow. That is a ton. And so can you explain more about the facility itself? Like, so from my understanding, it's going to be using shipping containers, a modular design. That's really cool.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of just part of the design. We were looking for, how can we build this in a way that's modular? How can we build it in a way that's kind of, more on the sustainable side? How can we do it in a way that's creative? Because, after all, it is a creative hub and we want to put a really creative stamp on it, right? And so for all of those reasons, we looked at shipping containers and we found a great partner in a company called Giant Containers, who actually does a lot of work in the not-for-profit kind of community space. And so they came alongside and did a lot of, consulting kind of with us on the design and what would be possible with shipping containers. So we're kind of excited about that because it is, again, something very creative and, that speaks to the creativity of it. I don't know that it's necessarily more low cost than a traditional, but I think also because we're trying to partner with the town, and the town has been so gracious and so supportive in agreeing to provide land for this project. It's something that if we need to make changes to it, if we need to build up, if we need to expand it, if we need to reduce the footprint, then we can do that easily because of the use of shipping containers. So it's permanent, but semi-permanent, right?
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, you can build it pieces at a time, from what I understand too, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So, like, as you get more money, like as you fundraise more money, you can add more stuff to it, right? Am I wrong in assuming that?
No, you're
No,
correct.
you are
You're correct. Yeah.
That's awesome, and that's great to hear that the council's been so supportive. Because I mean, like, it really does seem like Shelburne does have some people on council that are really supportive of good ideas, that are really trying to move the town forward, and it's good to see. It's really good to see. And so where is the facility going to be?
Right now, the proposed location is on a plot of land that the town owns. It's just adjacent to the CDRC. Yep, right next to Glenbrook Elementary School.
Yes, there's a parking lot there. So in a corner of the parking lot, basically.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I mean, that's a pretty decent location. I mean, if
Absolutely.
it's
Central.
that's great.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, our proposal was initially, we were thinking Fiddle Park, but the town...
Well, one of the counselors made a very valid point that that's not necessarily very walkable for young people.
Yeah.
Right? And so the proposed location is central and, a lot of residents would have access to it to be able to even walk there.
Yeah.
That's awesome that they actually didn't just shoot it down and said, no, come up with something else. They actually were looking to help and provide a solution.
Yeah.
We
It's
were
funny.
blown away by the amount of support.
Yeah. Because you never know, right? You have this idea that you think is good,
And it's very ambitious.
yeah, very ambitious, and we go in there. We say we want to build this,
Hey,
place.
would you give us land?
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
So just that validation, just affirms again and confirms that it's definitely a need here, and the town council recognizes that we're a growing community. And we believe that, we can partner together to meet a lot of needs that are in the community.
And also demonstrates what you just said, which is that, our council is really forward-thinking, progressive, and very supportive of good ideas.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I understand, you've had a lot of town support too, just overall. Because I was reading about a grant you guys were applying for, like the Viva Community Fund, I think.
Yes.
And you guys got a bunch of votes.
We
And I
did.
mean, you were right behind the Royal Ontario Museum as
Yeah.
far as the votes go.
Oh my God, it was such a
That was-
nerve-wracking and it's exciting process.
Yeah, nerve-wracking, exciting, and really mind-blowing
Yeah.
because it's like, you know, we're small.
And we were super new at the time.
And, you know, the town support and just community and online social support, like we never thought that we would rank that high. And then ending up, I think, like 6th overall in Canada, right? Which is great. So, and again, that at that time, that was like an initial ideation idea of the same kind of concept. So, like,
and you know, to think I think it's 3 or 4 years later, you know, at the time for Aviva Community Fund, we were vying for $100,000, I think. And so to be here like 3 years later with $100,000 donation for that idea is just mind blowing to us.
Yeah.
So that leads into my next question: who's helping make the new facility possible?
Well, hopefully the entire community.
Yeah,
all right?
I would say the entire community right now. Yeah.
Well, right, we're looking at I guess several pieces of the fundraising pie. We're hoping that corporate sponsors, you know, can see the vision and recognize the value for the community and support. We already have our first $100,000 donation from Flato Developments, which is fantastic. We're also looking at the Canada Cultural Spaces Fund, which funds initiatives like this across Canada. So, and then of course, community support. So we're believing that, you know, individuals can, you know, each dollar
because every dollar counts, right?
So
when you're trying to raise between $4 and $6 million, right?
Yeah,
100%, 100%. That's a big goal. But you guys are a charity, so I mean that is great. Like that is a great thing. Because I mean, from what I understand, that was quite the process in and of itself too.
It absolutely was.
It was. I mean, we knew in the beginning that was the goal, but then, you know, when you have to register as a not-for-profit, operate as such for a year, and then you could begin the process of filing for charity status. And in that process, you know, there are all these, you know, I guess
let's call them stipulations,
right? Guidelines that you need to meet for, you know, CRA. And after we got our first kind of response, I won't say rejection, response, which was how many pages?
I think it was 10 pages.
10-page response from CRA saying why they're not going to grant us. It's like, okay, well, maybe we won't.
We almost gave up.
Yeah, you know, but our accountant was like, come on, we have the answers to these questions, so let's do that. And Juli-Anne put together an amazing
19-page
response. And then got the response back like, all right, you were good to go. So it was good for us. It was a learning experience. And it really helped us to like streamline our focus and our vision, right? Because we want to do everything. And CRA is like, you can't do everything. And so it really helped us to focus and pinpoint that. And of course, the response being, you know, affirmative makes it all sense and clear for us. So,
and we love the fact that we are able to operate as a charity because it means, you know, for the community that every dollar you give us goes right back into the community. So that's kind of what we love. You know, in the eventual vision, for example, when you come into the cafe in the building, you know that every dollar that you spend buying a coffee or a donut at the cafe goes back into the programming. So I think, you know, that's kind of the initial goal. It's something for the community, by the community.
And the transparency, you know, that CRA allows and affords us, it makes the community feel more comfortable knowing that they're giving and they can see
where their dollars are going.
Exactly. And I mean, that's great for everybody. And I mean, it just helps increase support because, again, everyone knows exactly what's going on. I mean, versus some big corporation where we don't know what's going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
How much is required for the facility in total? You mentioned it was around $4 million?
Yeah, we are estimating at this point between $4 and $6 million to build the facility and then also outfit it with the equipment that we're going to need because, you know, there is a performance hall built into the design. And so there's some specialized equipment around lighting and all of the equipment required for that and also the recording studio. And of course, you have to have furniture in there. So somewhere between $4 and $6 million is what we're working with right now.
That's great because I mean it is going to be quality and it, like you said, like there's a lot going on. So you want to make sure it's done right,
Absolutely.
and you want to make a place for people to actually want to be. And I mean It sounds like that is what's happening, which is great.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're using these containers just allows these kids to see like what can be done. Like, hey, think outside the box. Like,
Yes.
it's a truly creative project. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So who is all involved with the Streams Community Hub?
Well, yeah. Okay.
You're looking at us. I'm just kidding.
So Juli-Anne and I, of course, are the founders. We have a board of
Five.
Five.
Or six. Yeah.
five. It's a small board, but it's a strong and mighty board. Jeanette French. Did you want us to name them? Do you want us to?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Jeanette French of Lennox Farms. She's on our board, and she's a educator for many years and a community champion.
Yeah.
She's there. We have
Chris
Barnes,
member of the community. We've got Marva Tyndale, who's someone who has, journeyed with us a very long time since we met each other. Another young lady named Tanya Fallow, who similarly has been very close to us for a very long time, and we started with the three of us initially. Did I miss anyone? No. And that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And you guys rely on volunteers a lot too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we do rely on volunteers when we are in session. So for example, summer camp, we have a lot of volunteers who come in and are in the classroom assisting the artists who are facilitating. We aim to employ Dufferin County artists to facilitate those programs. So we find an artist in Dufferin County who specializes in that particular discipline, and we get them to come in and kind of facilitate the camps and teach the classes, and we pay them for that because we really believe that artists should be compensated for the work that they do and their passion, right? So we compensate the artists, but they are supported largely by volunteers in their classrooms. And so our volunteers are generally youth. And so that's always good too, because we get their point of view and we really want to hear what they have to say about that space that we're creating, right? So yeah, we're volunteer run, and then all of the administration is handled by a mix of our board and Andrew and I.
Awesome. So then you're providing a lot of leadership opportunities to these youth too when they volunteer then,
yes,
which is
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, kids are able to get their volunteer hours. We obviously have a lot of high school kids, but then we also have some like grade 7 and 8s who have the opportunity to kind of like
get their feet wet.
Yeah.
Awesome. So are you currently looking for volunteers?
We're always looking and building our database, more so obviously when we're in session. We're always building and just keeping a database of volunteers. We rely also on Volunteer Dufferin website, which is great because it helps, get the word out there. And we have had a lot of volunteers come through that Volunteer Dufferin. So. Yeah.
Awesome. That is good. Because I know that is a great organization that helps a lot of a lot of nonprofits and volunteer-based organizations. So that's great. I'm glad that you're tapped in. Because not enough people know about that organization.
Right.
Yeah.
If you ever want to volunteer Dufferin. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you can find opportunities there.
So how has COVID affected things for you guys?
Yeah, so this year, COVID, after that first PD Day camp, we kind of, COVID kind of hit right before March break. And so we had to cancel our March break programming for the year, which we had plans to expand. We typically do 2 programs over March break, and we were going to be doing 4 programs this year. So we had to cancel March break. We also had to cancel summer. And we had also planned to expand summer from 4 weeks to 6 weeks. And we were going from 8 programs to 13 programs this summer. So we had to cancel all of our programs basically for the year. But what we did is that we pivoted and created a box. So we call them imagination boxes. And we filled those boxes, 250 of them. We had custom boxes made, and we filled them with creative projects that kids could do at home. So we had some visual arts projects in there. We had a STEM kind of engineering project. We had a culinary project. We provided them with a boxed cake mix, and we kind of said, make something. So some people made really super amazing cakes, and other people reinvented the box mix into something other than a cake. We had an eco art kind of grow your own project that was sponsored by Lennox Farm, where we provided them with clay pots, and they could paint their clay pots, get some soil, and plant some seeds. So we filled the boxes with projects, and we gave them away to kids in our community, 250 boxes. And we also ran a contest so that they would repurpose or redecorate their boxes. And we actually just handed out the prize to the winner of that yesterday. So it was pretty amazing to still be able to kind of provide something and connect with the kids in our community who were registered for camp and who would have been registered for camp. But unfortunately, because of COVID, we had to kind of cancel our programming as we were used to for this year.
That makes complete sense. Are you seeing a big impact on the youth with COVID? Are you still interacting with youth much?
Well, the projects in our box kind of helped us to keep engaged.
Yeah.
A lot of parents were reposting their projects and pictures and things like that. So that was amazing to see. We tried, Emma Pink Art, that's one of our future facilitators. She was doing some online tutorials of how to paint pictures and draw. And so we were kind of reposting those and kind of getting kids to kind of be engaged in that, download coloring pages. So we were trying our best to stay engaged and stay connected with them. Of course, it's not the same as being there in person. So I definitely know that there was a
disappointment.
A disappointment in missing that. But again, we're hoping that things change and things get better. And we'll find ways to work around it, even if things stay the same in the year to come, right?
Well, you guys sound like you're plenty resourceful. You've accomplished a lot already, so I'm sure you'll figure it out. but there's a ton to look forward to with everything that you guys are doing. I mean, how many, if you don't want me asking, if you have the numbers, how many kids have you helped so far?
So we've served, if we include volunteers in the number, about roughly 250 kids from Dufferin County over the time that we have kind of been operating. And, that's pretty remarkable, bearing in mind that we only operate during March break and summer camp so far. So, yeah.
Wow. I mean, because that's when the classes are available. So, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So, and some PD Day programs you're planning on too, right? So that's big plans. That's so exciting. Again, plus the facility, which is very exciting. So from what I understand, is there a survey that you're looking for feedback on?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. Right now, we are in the process of working with a consultant. We received the Investment Readiness Program grant over the summer to be able to do some work with a consultant to provide us with a multi-year strategic plan for the organization. And so part of that work is deep stakeholder engagement. And it's coming at the right time because we really want the community to give us feedback on, we have this great idea and we think it's great. But we want to be relevant to our community. So we want to know what the community wants the space to look like and what they would want programmatically and in terms of the infrastructure as well. So we are looking for people to fill out that survey, give us feedback. A lot of the questions are optional. So even if there are questions there that, you don't necessarily have experience with streams and you don't know too much about us, we do really want people's input on the future state. And so we're trying to get the community to fill out that survey.
Awesome. We'll make sure to link it in the information.
Until September 20th.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. And I'll make sure to link it in the information so people can get access to it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you all for all that you guys are doing. This is truly amazing. And it makes me want to be a kid again. Although, again, I'm lucky enough to still be in Dufferin so I can experience it still.
Yeah.
And the thing that's really cool from what I'm imagining here too is again, over time, if things if the needs of the town change or the community change, you can add and change it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Without it being as big of a deal as it traditionally is, where it's a huge construction project where it's a big nuisance to people.
Yeah.
This sounds extremely convenient.
Yes. Yeah,
definitely. In speaking with the company that does the prefab containers, it doesn't take much to get them down on the land once we've, got the posts in place and ready to go. It's just like Lego pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, that's easy. And I'm sure the kids will like that concept a ton too.
Yes.
I know I always did.
Yeah.
Awesome. So So what is the best way to get in touch with you guys? And I'll make sure I'll include it in the details as well.
Yep. So you'll be able to find most of the information, contact information, and information about us on our website at streamshub.org. And also, we do have a pretty heavy presence on social media. So we are at Streams Hub on Instagram and Streams Hub on Facebook.
Awesome. That's super easy to find.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say to the people of Dufferin before we wrap it up?
Thank you, first of all, for, just being such a supportive community, such a supportive county. We really want to hear your voice. So we want to encourage people to, take the survey and let us know, give us some feedback on what you'd like to see. Let's build this thing together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to say to all the artists out there, if you are a creator and you want to share your creativity, we want to encourage you. We're continually building our facilitator list. So that there are people that we can reach out to and create specific programs around whatever creative discipline that person has. So we encourage you to get in touch with us and build relationships and spread creativity.
What? And we're lucky enough to have a lot of different variety of artists in town. So I mean, I'm glad you mentioned it, because that there is a ton that I hope will take advantage of that call that you just made. Because I mean, you guys are offering a big opportunity for everyone. And we are truly lucky that this is happening in our community in Shelburne, because everything happens in Orangeville. So I'm glad that there's something happening outside of Orangeville. It's great, especially something that's fun and exciting and forward looking. Like it really is. And again, it just shows like what Shelburne is becoming. Like it really is becoming a forward looking place. So after that, I think all of us in Dufferin are excited for the future of Streams Community Hub. If you are interested in learning more, either about enrolling in or volunteering for future camps, be sure to check out streamshub.org. Donations can also be made through the website as well. $25 provides 1 day of camp for a kid, so you're really making a difference here. Also, don't forget to check out the survey in the description below so you can provide your input on what you think should be in the Creative Hub at Shelburne. So many amazing possibilities, so make sure to get your thoughts in ASAP. But the survey was extended until September 27th, so there's plenty of time for you to get that in. Big thanks to Juli-Anne and Andrew for their time and for all the work that they are doing to make this concept a reality in Dufferin. It's going to make a huge difference, and I'm really excited. I think all of us are, like I said. And to you, the audience, thank you for listening. I'm Josh McKeown with Dufferin News, and until next time, have a great one. Thanks.